Hello, welcome into the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. We are back. I am Evan Closky alongside my partner, Chris Porter. How we living?
What's up, my guy? We have a great show for you today. Dr. Closky will explain why the Buccaneers are in a world of pain. Miami and Florida have differences when it comes opinions when it comes to their quarterbacks, and we'll give our best bets in the Ultimate Stakes. But we start here in the 904. It's been an interesting week for Brian Thomas Jr. Monday, he was feeling the heat from Jags fans after last week's loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. The second-year receiver dropped 2 passes, and fans called out his effort, especially on the game's final play when he did not appear to go all out for a lateral. Earlier this week, Liam Cohen revealed Thomas is dealing with a wrist injury. BTJ says the wrist is not an excuse. He owns the drops, and he knows he has to be better. Thomas says he's ready to go Sunday against the Houston Texans. And most importantly, his teammates say there's no need to panic, Jags fan. BTJ will be just fine.
I mean, they're super supportive. They just steady pushing me to be the best that I can be. So, I mean, yeah, they're super supportive. They know what I'm capable of and what we're capable of as a team. So, yeah, they're just pushing us to be the best that we can be as a team.
I mean, we're in week 2, everybody. So I think we can all just take a deep breath. Give BT a little space. You know, he's going to be just fine. Not worried about him at all. He's too good of a player to not, be involved and make those plays down the field that we all know he can make. And I've got all the confidence in the world in him.
We're not expecting nobody to be perfect. We're just coming out here expecting you to do what you're supposed to do when you need to do it. Obviously, that's not going to always happen how you want it to happen, but just about how you bounce back.
Wideout, who posted an impressive numbers as a rookie last season, has had some trouble with drops through the first 2 weeks of the regular season. 19 targets, which leads the team, only 5 catches, 60 yards receiving, 0 touchdowns, and key drops in each of the Jags' first 2 games. At this pace, he'll finish the season with 42 catches and 510 yards. That's assuming he'll play every game. Keep in mind, as a rookie, BTJ had 87 catches for more than 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'd still stress patience on that front as well. Chris, let's talk about another Jags receiver and how the team is managing him, Travis Hunter.
Yes, sir. As the Jaguar season rolls on, getting two-way player Travis Hunter going is a major key. Cohen says Hunter's a special talent. The staff is focused on putting him in position to succeed on both sides of the football right now. The split between wide receiver and cornerback reps in practice about 50-50, and Cohen says they feel like they found the sweet spot. As for concerns about the workload long-term, Cohen says they're monitoring it closely, but right now Travis is handling it just fine.
Like, it's something we are constantly evaluating. We were just meeting a minute ago with Sports Science with Chris Bach about that, and with Jay Kaiser about his schedule and about what it looks like, what the mileage, what we're hoping to get out of today, tomorrow, the whole vision. So is it a concern? No, it's just something that we definitely need to make sure we're constantly evaluating and being able to tweak if necessary.
So Travis played 42 snaps on defense, 42 snaps on offense, 43 snaps on defense for a total of 85 snaps. This was a significant increase in his defensive snap count from week 1 and marked his first NFL game playing a nearly equal number of snaps on both sides of the ball, Evan.
Yeah, I can only understand, this isn't just a one-time player figuring out both ways, but also the coaches have to figure it out too. So everyone's learning along the ride. All right, the doctor is in session, Chris, because things are really bad here in Tampa. The good news is that they're 2-0. The bad news is they lost Closky and Cody Mauch to a season-ending injury after Monday Night Football, which is a brutal blow in the trenches. Sprinkle in the fact that Luke Gedeke heading to IR. Michael Jordan didn't practice this past week. The offensive line, I have no idea what it's going to look like Sunday. And so let's wrap up the bad news. Cody Mauch, Closky, and David Walker all out for the year. Jalen McMillan is out for half the season at least. Luke Gedeke might be out for half the season as well. Chris Godwin's going to need multiple weeks. I guess Tristan Wirfs too. Is this bad? 100%. Can the team survive this? I think they can. If there is anything we've learned about this group, they ain't going to quit. They've been here before. They won a division last year. Have to keep fighting, and a bunch of O-linemen are busting their buns in that building right now.
We can get those guys developmental reps on the scheme for not only this week, but just the core fundamentals and techniques that we try to use day in and day out that really started back in the spring. And so we always look at it like the mentality of those guys never know when they're going to have to play. So if they get the work in and the extra meeting time and get the practice reps on the field and get the extra indie time, they're just in a better position if and when they need to get out there.
Look, if it's just Malk and Cansey, the team can overcome those losses in due time. The cavalry is coming eventually. The issue would become if they lose any more bodies along the way.
Dr. Closky, always in the house. Just when we thought you would give up the title, you got to give us this terrible news yet again.
I'm always on the clock, 24/7, my man.
I like that. All right, let's talk about your quarterback's performance on Monday Night Football. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, this guy's an absolute dog. Buccaneers are the only team since 1970 to win the first 2 games of the season in the final minute of the contest. Mayfield now has 14 fourth-quarter comebacks to his name, or I should say game-winning drives. Also, it was nice to see Mayfield getting all this national attention and quoting Nick Saban in the process, calling it rat poison. As long as Baker Mayfield is on the field, the Bucs have a chance. The offense has not played great the first 2 weeks, but this dude is a gamer and just finds a way to win. It's hard to argue he's not one of the most entertaining quarterbacks in the league right now, especially when he goes down hurt, pops back up just to talk smack to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The locker room is 100% behind this dude, and that is critical in the NFL. Dave Canales got a head coaching gig. Liam Cohen got a head coaching gig. Maybe, just maybe, Baker Mayfield has more to do with it than people originally thought. He's not a comeback story anymore. He is clearly a top 10 quarterback in the league to me.
I like that last drive. He got hit. He bounced up. He willed his team to victory. That is what we want to see here in the 904, my friend. Now let's talk about some college football.
Yep.
Mandarin alum and Jacksonville native Carson Beck is set to lead the 4th-ranked Miami Hurricanes into back-to-back battles against their biggest rivals, Florida and FSU. First up, the Florida Gators, who will make the trip to South FLA. Beck, the Georgia transfer, knows how to beat the Gators. He's already done it twice. Now he's bringing that SEC swag and a nation-leading 79.3 completion percentage into the game. Head coach Mario Cristobal is leaning on Beck's experience and intel, but this won't be easy because listen to this. Florida's defense has allowed just 2 touchdowns all year.
You look at this defense and, you look at their D coordinator and what he does, and they challenge you. They do things that, try to mess with your protection. They do things where it's a lot of match coverage and every throw is contested, but they also can mix it up and, play different types of zones. So they're very multiple on defense, and they do their job well. They play very fast. They're physical. Obviously, great D-line. Good secondary, good backers. I mean, they play fast. It's a really good defense, and they've shown that this year.
And one interesting note, Beck committed to Florida his freshman year in high school to play baseball. He later changed his mind and decided to play for the Bulldogs. Beck and his receivers will be tested against that Florida secondary.
Yeah, as for DJ Lagway, look, not the best performance in Death Valley, to say the least. Gator fans aren't happy. DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions against LSU and was easily the reason why they lost the football game. Here's the craziest stat of the college football season, in my opinion. The Gators started the season 1-2 and only gave up 2 offensive touchdowns. This is an offensive problem in Gainesville, not a defensive problem. And while I know everyone wants to deduce opinions about DJ Lagway, you have to remember this is really his first year being the main guy. He missed tons of time in the offseason with injuries, and LSU was really his first true road test ever in his career. As last year, he never really had to face anything like that with the 2 road games he played in. I'm still very much a DJ Lagway fan, but I get it. The fans in Gainesville, they want a winner now. And you can't rush development, and sadly, it might cost Billy Napier his job, even though he has assembled a really darn good roster on paper, Chris.
And I'll say this, DJ Lagway, I like him, but there were a couple of interceptions in that game that made him look like a true freshman, and I felt like they were inexcusable. But, hey, that's Napier has his wagon hitched to him, and we'll just see what happens.
He was seeing ghosts for sure.
And we'll see them during the border war here in Jacksonville in November. Speaking of the River City, Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan announced the city will host the next 3 FHSAA basketball championships starting in 2026. Mayor Deegan made the announcement at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena alongside members of Visit Jacksonville and FHSAA, I love saying that, CEO Craig Damon. The tournament will be held on the campus of UNF and will have a welcome reception for families at FSCJ. The Rural Classification Championships will take place February 24th through the 27th, and the championships for Class 1A through 7A will take place March 5th through the 14th next year. Mark your calendars. Organizers say the 2 weeks of high school basketball will boost our local economy while also allowing our players here on our First Coast to play in their backyard.
5 or 6 schools the past 5 years are from 30 miles away from here that have been a part of our Final Four. For those teams, it's like playing at home. So it should boost our attendance up at some of our games because now those communities can come and hear it and support their teams.
You know, they talk about UNF being a hidden gem as a university. We don't want that hidden part anymore. We just want to be a gem. We want people to know who we are, and the athletic department can play a role in that. You know, we can drive exposure for the university on a national level. We can drive enrollment, drive engagement.
And I know this is great news for high school basketball teams and fans because here on our First Coast, when it comes to February and March, all we want to talk about is Lakeland. Now they're going to be saying next year, coming to Jacksonville for the Final Four of the state title games.
Hey, you stole our tournament down there, or up there, I should say. Look, very exciting stuff. Hey, if we can get all our teams in there, that would be the best case scenario.
Yep.
Look, as for our heart of the game, a Super Bowl surprise. Why this lovely child is heading to Santa Clara for the big game this year.
Plus, every week, the Edward Waters Tigers, they add a new chapter to what's turning out to be a historic season. The feat the Tigers accomplished last week and what Coach Brian Jenkins is saying about facing his old team. It's next in the Ultimate Rush. Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we dig into some topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch is we have 60 seconds to make our point, and I'm going to start us off with the Rays. Presidents Matt Silverman and Brian Auld announced they will be stepping down from their posts once the sale of the Rays are completed, which should happen by the end of the month or early October. This marks a big change in the organizational structure of the team. Silverman will remain on an executive board member, as Stu Sternberg will still own about 10% equity in the Rays. Auld will remain on as a senior advisor, and this is a reminder for everyone out there, when new ownership comes in, it's a two-way street. To my knowledge, new ownership wants to keep as many people from the baseball ops side as possible, but that doesn't mean those already there want to stay. Could Kevin Cash leave? Maybe. Could Eric Neander leave? Maybe. There are a lot of people who made the Rays very successful on the field who might move on because of this switch. So it's not all rainbows and butterflies sending Stu Sternberg out the door. But hey, Stu needed to be kicked out to make sure that baseball stays in Tampa Bay, which it looks like it will. Orlando, of course, waiting on deck in case something cannot be solved in Tampa, but I am fairly confident we're going to get a new stadium on the other side of the bridge.
We just want this to get resolved so we can move on, my friend. That's all we want.
I'm so with you, man. So with you.
All right, let's talk about one of the hottest teams here in the Sunshine State, the Edward Waters Tigers. Every week, the Tigers are writing a new chapter to what's shaping up to be a historic football season. Last Saturday, the Tigers pulled off their biggest win yet, defeating number 13 Virginia Union in a thrilling victory in the inaugural Unity Classic. They're now 3-0, the best start in the program's history. The matchup lived up to the hype as both teams traded punches in a high-octane shootout, but it was EWU that delivered the knockout blow. Coach Brian Jenkins praised the Tigers' composure and toughness against a nationally ranked opponent. And let me tell you something, this year's squad is building a new identity, one based on confidence, physicality, and a refusal to back down. They're not just turning heads, they're turning the tide for EWU football. With the momentum sky high, the Tigers head into this week's game against Bethune-Cookman as one of the hottest teams in Division II football. It's a program Coach Jenkins is very familiar with. He coached the Wildcats from 2010 to 2014, compiling an overall record of 46-14. And yes, Coach Jenkins did do some great things at BCU, but he says he's living in the present and he won't be satisfied until the Tigers play a complete game this year.
All right. Love it, Chris.
Time now for the heart of the game. This is where we go beyond the X's and the O's, and it's those stories that you don't have to be a sports fan to love. Go, Evan.
Yeah, the Bucs surprised a student at Riverview Elementary School with tickets to this year's Super Bowl. Lucy competed in a Children's Heart Challenge along with dozens of other kids across the nation. She was just one of 5 students in the U.S. picked for the grand prize.
I'm mostly excited for my family to come with me and spend some time together.
Yeah. There's 2 tickets and there's 4 of us, so there's a chance. We're going to have a long talk, figure out who's going.
This was made possible by the American Heart Association. The Children's Challenge helps kids learn about heart health, hands-on CPR, and the warning signs of stroke. Not only are we teaching great lessons to the youth, Chris, but we're also going to learn a lesson in compromise, because two people in that family have to take a back seat while the other gets to be Lucy's guardian to the Super Bowl.
You know what? I could really listen to these stories all day. So uplifting, so positive, so good. And she had that vibrant face and smile. You got to love it, my friend. Jaguars versus Texans.
You're going to have a memory she'll never forget.
Versus Jets. We've got the best bets for Sunday's game and the ultimate stakes. You're watching the Ultimate Florida Sports Show.
Hey, Dad. I don't need you to be perfect.
I don't need you to be a superhero. I know you don't have it all figured out. Y eso está bien, porque eres mi papá. And that's enough.
And scientific study shows when my dad is involved,
Great things happen.
when test scores go up,
I'm less anxious.
I just become the best version of me.
We are back for our Ultimate Stakes segment. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. It all depends on the week.
And just remember, it's for entertainment purposes only. Let's talk about the Texans-Jags game. The Jaguars, per usual, have their hands full when they face their AFC South Division rival Houston Sunday. The Jags, at the time of this show's recording, were favored by 2 points according to the Hard Rock app. But bettors beware. The Texans have owned the Jags here in the River City. In fact, Houston has won 7 straight games here in the 904. I will say this, the Jags defense is much improved, getting after the opposing quarterback and forcing turnovers. Houston defense is G-O-O-D good as well. And I think Trevor will be tested by Houston's defensive front. However, I'm taking the Jags by 3 because the Big Cats have the #1 rushing offense in the NFL, and no, I did not stutter, which means T-Law won't have all of the pressure squarely on his shoulders. So the Texans' 7-game win streak at Everbank Stadium will end on Sunday.
Yeah, and that Texans offense looks really bad. But it is interesting that the Texans played L.A. and the Bucs, and they're going to see a similar type of offense with Liam Cohen. As for the Buccaneers and the Jets game, I don't know what Tampa Bay is going to look like offensively with all that carnage on that side of the ball. We know Baker Mayfield is going to want to get the ball out fast. We know they'll want to run it as much as possible to protect their QB. So this is what I got. Rashad White over 20.5 rushing yards. Feel like after last week he's going to earn more work. Second bet, Bucky Irving over 20.5 receiving yards. It's clear he's been a big focal point there. Has been playing more third downs. Finally, Emeka Egbuka is banged up. Sterling Shepard has been shining on third downs. I don't think you can go wrong hitting his over as well.
Man, all I got to say is this. You got a lot of injuries in the Jets defense. It ain't bad, my friend. Last Sunday, did you see Trevor Lawrence wave off Liam Cohen in Cincinnati? Well, it had social media buzzing. In my last word, I'll explain why there's no need to get caught up in all the drama.
Time now for our last word. Chris, please lead us off.
Of all the moments in the Jaguars' loss to the Cincinnati Bengals last week, the one that had social media buzzing, Trevor Lawrence appearing to wave off his head coach, Liam Cohen. Cameras caught Cohen seemingly urging Trevor to hit the receiver in the chest after a misfire, and Trevor wasn't having it. Now, I know we love a little sideline drama. This is America, after all, the home of reality TV, but let's pump the brakes. Trevor told reporters that Cohen is fiery. He's more laid back, and sometimes that emotion just looks different. He even said he likes Cohen's intensity and channels it in his own way. Cohen just shrugged all of this off. So before you make a mountain out of a molehill, a sideline moment, just know Trevor and Liam are just fine. Let's carry on. However, I was thinking, how would things turn out for me if my boss asked me to do something and I waved her off? No, I'm good.
Yeah. Look, just a reminder for Liam Cohen that now that he's the head coach, cameras are going to be on him all the time during games. As for my final word, it's on Deshaun Foster, who was ousted from UCLA this past week after an embarrassing loss to New Mexico at home by 25 points. Foster couldn't even make it through his second year, going 5-10 in his tenure. Earlier in the season, Foster didn't allow any of his players to participate in feature stories. We're talking fluff pieces. He was afraid the opponent would have a competitive advantage. Well, newsflash, Deshaun, the eye in the sky doesn't lie, and when game days are on film, you can't hide anything. When you're a head coach, you have to play the PR game. If you're unwilling to do that, then you go be a positional coach. You don't have to worry about all this BS. Foster is an example of college coaches who try to control everything within their reach, yet can't control the one thing that matters, winning games. Foster said if they win, reporters will come. Well, what now? I'm guessing that's not going to be his problem anymore, but I just feel like all silliness here. If reporters want to come and do fluff pieces on your players, welcome it, allow it, especially to begin the season, drum up the excitement. Sad times in Westwood for a lot
All
of
I'm going to say is this. UCLA, I don't know how you got better by firing this man at this point of the season. You're just going to have a whole bunch of guys defect. Good luck being the B team for even much longer out in Los Angeles. Folks, thanks for watching today.
It's a
Join us
mess.
back here, same time, same channel. Good. Have a great day.